Good afternoon. This is Dr. Sherelle Perkins. I am going to share with you a mid-morning teaching, and let me pull up my notes. It's dealing with the freedom to live. We want to make sure that in this new and in this new hour, we are releasing our past to move forward. Today, we're talking about emotional freedom, not as a denial of the past, but as discernment about the present. It's so important that we have the right perspective as we continue to press into purpose for this hour. It's so important. Emotional freedom is not pretending nothing happened, it is choosing what did happen will no longer govern how we think, decide, lead, or move forward. It's those subtle things that are inside of us that we may not be really conscious of. Many leaders are not stuck because of failure. I'll say that again. Many leaders are not stuck because of failure. They're stuck because of former success, former seasons, former relationships, former identities built around seasons, relationships, or an environment that once fit but no longer aligns with the new place that they're called to. The danger is not remembering the past, it's being ruled by it. Now, let's think about this. Attachment becomes unhealthy when it outlives its alignment. God does not ask us to dishonor what was, who we are, who our parents were, where we came from. He doesn't cause us to dishonor that. He asks us not to live there. Even your good seasons can become your limitations. Some attachments are obvious: trauma, pain, betrayal. And even those we don't always just get rid of. But we know in our heart that's not how we should live. But many leaders are tethered to good experiences. That perfect work relationship, that perfect company dynamic, a role where you were affirmed, a relationship where you felt safe, a season where things were predictable, a place where your identity felt clear. It may be recent, it may be in grade school, but there are times and seasons where all of this, we may have felt affirmed, we may have felt safe, we may have known what was going to happen. None of these things are bad. If you've had those things, that's wonderful. But it's when attachments replace alignment, your momentum slows. You can honor a season and still to move on from it. You can honor those persons that are part of that season, but you don't have to live in it. You can be grateful and still called forward. Leadership stagnates not when doors close, but when we refuse to leave rooms God has already finished furnishing. Or there are doors that have closed. You may not even be in the room anymore, but your heart is still tethered to that experience, whether good or bad. Emotional tethers drain your present strength. Unresolved emotional attachments quietly shape your leadership. It may cause you to be hesitant when clarity is required. You may react instead of responding. In these situations, we replay conversations instead of hearing from God, hearing that still small voice. We may even compare current seasons to former ones. The point of power is in the present. If we call it a former season, then it cannot be compared to where we are now. It's over. Without this understanding, we lead from memory instead of mission. When we remain emotionally tethered, we keep consulting, we keep undermining, even when God is speaking to us now, and we know He's speaking to us. But that part of us goes back to that former season. Real freedom begins when we recognize this very thing. In fact, we need to know that we don't need to resolve everything to release it. Some things are not meant to be revisited, only release. Let me say that again. Some things are not meant to be revisited, only to be released. Don't go back and try to fix it. It's in your past. Release it. God honors the past without allowing it to govern your future. God is not threatened by your history. I'll say it again. God's not threatened about your history. He already knows where you've been. He knows where you came from. He knows everything about you. In His purpose, He will not allow it to define your identity. We're not our past. We're not our history. We are who we are. When you study scripture shows us that transition requires release. For example, Abraham had to leave familiar ground. He had to he had to leave all that which was familiar. The problem with the children of Israel in the wilderness, they kept longing for Egypt. So Egypt stayed in their heart, no matter where God was trying to lead them. So we find examples throughout scripture and throughout our current world that leaders have to shift from who they were to who they are becoming. Your past may be part of your testimony, but it can't be the throne that you sit on. When we release unhealthy attachments, clarity returns, peace increases, decision making strengthens, leadership advances without emotional drag. Forward movement requires being packed lightly. In other words, you can carry your whole history, the history of your family, the history of your culture and your community on your back and move forward. Emotional freedom restores your ability to flow as a leader. When unhealthy attachments are released, we stop proving and start producing. We stop rehearsing and start responding. We stop leading from wounds and start leading from wisdom. Emotionally free leaders are not defensive, they're not reactive, they're not driven by validation. They are anchored, present, and clear. Freedom is not loud, freedom is steady. Steady as she goes. So I want to invite you to take a few minutes. It may be your mid morning break, it may be your mid afternoon break, but I want you to pause and think about three things. What are you still carrying from a former season? Now I'm hearing you can't do anything about broken homes, divorces, children's, for all of these things. But you don't have to carry what happened in those seasons. What relationship role or environment do you keep consulting emotionally? And I interject, I guess you're supposed to be meditating, but I'm going to interject. It's hard to build a marriage. It's hard to build a new relationship if you're constantly consulting your past. Where is God inviting you to that it's okay with him to honor, but you need to release it? I encourage you to release without resentment, without regret, and without delay. Let's do it. It's the first of the year. It's time to move on. I want to release this next declaration over your life. You can repeat it after me. Today, I release attachments that no longer align with who I am and who I am becoming. I honor what was without being governed by it. That includes parents. I choose clarity over comfort, forward movement over memory, and obedience over emotional attachment. I release peace. I release so that peace can return. As I let go, strength is renewed. I lead forward, free, focused, and aligned. Remember, it's not about forgetting, it's about leaving and letting go so that you can lead unencumbered. What God is doing now requires room, emotional room. So today, we are cleaning out those closets, those places that's filled with stuff, and we're making room for the new. Freedom always makes room for the next. I hope this brief teaching has been an encouragement to your heart. May you lead forward in freedom. This has been Dr. Sherelle Perkins. I'm the chaplain of Adonai Chapel. I'm glad to serve you. Be encouraged until we meet again.